Imagine booking a flight, excited for your journey, only to find out your plans are derailed, not just once, but repeatedly. Delayed flights, cancelled trips, unresponsive customer service, and a complete disregard for passengers' time. This is the story of Serene Air, an airline that once promised serenity in the skies, but has now become synonymous with chaos. How did it all go so wrong? Let's break it down. Serene Air entered Pakistan's aviation market in January 2017 with high hopes and big promises. It was marketed as a premium domestic airline, offering a better alternative to the notorious inefficiencies of PIA. With sleek branding, newer aircraft, and a promise of punctuality, comfort, and quality service, Serene Air quickly gained a reputation as a reliable option for domestic travel. The airline started its operations with a fleet of Boeing 737-800s, which were well suited for Pakistan's domestic routes. Its early days were filled with positive reviews, with passengers praising its clean cabins, decent food offerings, and comparatively smooth flight experiences. It also differentiated itself by branding flights as serene journeys, emphasizing an unparalleled passenger experience. For a few years, Serene Air appeared to live up to this promise, gaining a loyal customer base and even expanding its operations to include international routes to destinations like Dubai, Jeddah, and Sharjah. However, beneath this glossy exterior lay a foundation that was far from stable. Over time, cracks began to show, and what was once considered a promising contender in Pakistan's aviation industry soon spiraled into a series of controversies and operational failures. Serene Air's downfall can largely be attributed to its inability to maintain operational efficiency. Chronic delays, sudden cancellations, and the sheer lack of communication with passengers became its defining characteristics. Reports began flooding in of flights being delayed in increments, initially by an hour or two, only to be postponed multiple times throughout the day before finally departing late at night or being outright cancelled. Passengers were often left stranded at airports with no clear explanation or assistance from the airline staff. A glaring example came from a passenger who booked a 6 p.m. flight that ended up taking off at 6:40 a.m. the next day. This pattern of delays, compounded by poor communication, only fueled the anger of affected travelers. For many, the frustration wasn't just about the delays, but the way Serene Air handled, or failed to handle, their complaints. Customer service was described as unresponsive and dismissive, leaving passengers to fend for themselves. Adding to the chaos, the airline's fleet size seemed inadequate to meet its scheduling commitments. With only a handful of operational aircraft, reportedly as few as 3 at times, Serene Air struggled to cover its routes. It didn't help that several planes were grounded for maintenance for extended periods, leaving the airline with even fewer resources to meet its obligations. Passengers reported seeing parked planes at airports for weeks, raising concerns about the airline's financial health and operational planning. What's worse, Serene Air's inability to notify passengers about changes further exasperated the situation. Those who booked flights directly with the airline often received no communication about delays or cancellations, while passengers using third-party platforms like ClearTrip at least got updates, albeit still too late to prevent significant inconvenience. Adding to the bizarre list of issues, Serene Air does not accept international credit cards for bookings. For an airline that operates on international routes, this is nothing short of baffling. International travelers expecting to use standard payment methods find themselves in a bind, forced to scramble for alternative solutions to book flights. This glaring oversight further alienates a critical segment of the airline's clientele, making it even harder for Serene Air to compete in the international market. Some speculated that the airline delayed flights on less booked routes to consolidate passengers onto fewer flights, effectively prioritizing profits over customer experience. Others pointed fingers at potential financial struggles, suggesting that Serene Air might be operating on razor-thin margins and unable to afford sufficient staffing, maintenance, or fuel. The downfall of Serene Air isn't just a case of mismanagement. It's a cautionary tale about overpromising and underdelivering in a highly competitive and challenging industry. The airline's initial success was built on the promise of reliability and quality, but it failed to sustain these standards as its operations expanded. Its small fleet, coupled with poor planning and communication, left it ill-equipped to handle unforeseen challenges, like unfavorable weather conditions, airspace restrictions, or even routine operational hiccups. The airline's inability to address customer grievances effectively also played a significant role in its tarnished reputation. In today's hyper-connected world, word of mouth and social media play a crucial role in shaping public perception. Serene Air's failures became viral stories of frustration and disappointment, with passengers venting on platforms like Twitter and Reddit about their dreadful experiences. Each new complaint only reinforced the narrative of an airline in decline, deterring potential customers and eroding the trust of its existing base. Furthermore, Serene Air's struggles highlight broader issues within Pakistan's aviation industry. Chronic delays and inefficiencies aren't unique to Serene Air. Many domestic carriers face similar challenges. However, what sets Serene apart is the stark contrast between its early promise of serenity and its subsequent inability to deliver even basic reliability. Inconsistent messaging, lack of accountability, and a disregard for passenger experience turned what could have been a competitive advantage into a liability. Lastly, the controversies surrounding Serene Air serve as a reminder that in aviation, reputation is everything. Passengers are willing to pay a premium for reliability and service, but once trust is broken, it's almost impossible to regain. Serene Air, once seen as a beacon of hope in Pakistan's aviation sector, now stands as a cautionary tale of what happens when ambition outpaces execution. Serene Air's story is one of missed opportunities and unfulfilled promises. What started as a bright spot in Pakistan's aviation landscape has descended into a quagmire of delays, cancellations, and customer dissatisfaction. While the airline CEO speaks of soaring to new heights and setting benchmarks, the reality for passengers has been far less inspiring. Whether Serene Air can recover from this downward spiral remains to be seen. But for now, its name has become a stark reminder that serenity in the skies is easier said than done.